begin with Beethoven's Opus 131. It has 7 movements, and they're all connected.
Please welcome The Fugue, a quartet of New York poshos who've made their crust delivering note-perfect renditions of one of Beethoven's fiddliest compositions. Life's a happy song until their leader is diagnosed with Parkinson's and his encroaching departure prompts a power struggle. Christopher Walken plays our afflicted cello maestro. Philip Seymour Hoffman, Catherine Keener and Mark Ivanir are the faithful fuguettes.
Our instruments must in time go out of tune, each in its own quite different way.
I love you more than anything in the world. I made a stupid mistake.
Was he maybe trying to point out some cohesion, some unity between random acts of life?
Catherine, did this hit the right note for you?
For me, I was a little off-key. There's a lot of tonal lurches in this one. You have quite a sober and intellectual thing going on. Then you have strange sort of moments of farce. You know, it's a very structurally ambitious film. This it was made by this guy, and he's plotted it all out to mimic the structure of the music itself. It's very ambitious. I don't think it works. I think the whole second fiddle thing is too on the button, and I think fatally the sort of thing that really killed it for me is that the stakes are too low. I know that it's meant to be about people's lives and divorce and love and life, but at one point Walken says something like, actually explicitly says, what's at stake here is something like, will we be able to do this performance of the second minuet? And it's like, really, that's it? That's what's at stake. No, I'm afraid it just didn't ring true for me.
Peter, a lot's made in the film about the different musicians' skills and what they bring to the quartet as a whole. Is that the same thing that could be said of the actors as well? Or do they work well as an ensemble?
I think they work okay as an ensemble. I've got to say, I sympathise with Catherine's reservations about the movie, and I thought I was going to share them. And there is something a bit middlebrow about it and a tiny bit soap opera-ish. But also, I have to say, I found myself going with it. I think it's very heartfelt. It is quite highbrow, considering the stuff that we're served up normally. And I thought there was something very interesting at its heart. It's about this quartet which has been going for 25 years, sort of, I guess, like the Amadeus Quartet, in which you assent to the idea of these wonderful people making this wonderful music and they must all love each other. And it raised what I thought was a very interesting question, is if one of them leaves because he's too ill to carry on and they don't have the music, do they even like each other that much? And I thought that was a really interesting idea, and I thought it was sketched out very interestingly, dramatically. And the other thing I liked is it could have been a sort of TV movie-ish thing about his terrifying descent into Parkinson's, but actually very little of the movie is about that. It is dealt with quite unsentimentally, not totally unsentimentally, but quite unsentimentally. And it's about the disintegration of the group dynamic, which is as close as a family and close as a marriage, but kind of different from either. And I have to say, it's a bit mainstream, but I have to say I found it very heartfelt, and I was very involved in it.
I think because of that family dynamic, I agree with you more that it seems strangely farcical, like A Mighty Wind, Christopher Guest's film. It sort of reminded me of that kind of, they're coming together and being incredibly intense about this music and it being everything in our affluent lives. But that is sort of silly and dumb at the same time, right?
It is, and I did think, the main idea is, will Philip Seymour Hoffman be forever second fiddle in life as well as actually playing second violin? It's just every single line, or too many lines, are so on the button. They're like the faith thing in Spring Breakers, but all the way through. And I just felt maybe at heart it was a vanity project that was very earnestly felt, and one has to sort of applaud that level of commitment, which they all bring to it. But it just didn't come off for me.
I don't want to play second violin exclusively anymore.
But this isn't about you or me.
Yes.
No, this is about the quartet.
Why don't you have my back on this?
I do.
Can you stop the cab?
Please don't.